Why does Phil Jackson want Carmelo Anthony out of town so badly, Frank?
Well, I think he's probably figuring it's time for the Knicks to rebuild and to build around Kristaps Porzingis. If you kind of give up on this season, right now they're 7 games under 500. Doesn't look like they'll be a playoff team. The draft is actually pretty good, so maybe now is kind of the time to tank a little bit. And if you do trade Carmelo Anthony, that would be a part of it. But I think, the relationship between Carmelo and Phil is not great. I think they figure that, Carmelo being 32, 33 years old, still has a couple of years left on his contract, so why not try to get somebody younger for him? And I think that's why Cleveland wasn't interested in the deal, because Kevin Love, first of all, he's younger. And last year, he didn't really play that well, and they won a championship with him. This year, he's actually playing better. So I don't think from the Cleveland side it makes much sense.
No, it doesn't at all. But the reason why they tried it is because they thought that Cleveland would be one of the few teams that Carmelo would give up his no-trade clause to go to?
Maybe that's it. Or, whenever Phil is doing anything that he does, whether it's kind of taking subtle shots at Carmelo in the media, this thing that just happened with this report coming out about Cleveland, is he doing it to upset Carmelo? Is he doing it to upset the boss? Is he doing it because he's Phil Jackson? He could do whatever he wants. I don't know. It's probably a combination of all three of those. I do know that Carmelo had said last week in the meeting that he had with Phil Jackson on that Tuesday that he's not going to waive his no trade clause, that he wants to stay in New York, and then Phil went out and called Cleveland anyway. I'm assuming that he's thinking, well, he'll go to Cleveland because it's LeBron, and he has always talked about wanting to play with LeBron. But you do have to admit, it is kind of interesting because LeBron has been pretty vocal the past week. You have this stuff going on with Carmelo, and then you have Dwayne Wade 3 times this week has kind of talked about his future with the team. And then last night he kind of went off on his teammates, wondering if they don't care enough. So that Banana Boat crew is like, things are starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, so Frank Isola, the Daily News, joining me here. So have you or your colleagues been able to nail down the timing when LeBron said what he said about being a top-heavy team earlier this week? Was that maybe in reaction to knowing the Cavs nuked this deal, or that he was all for the Cavs nuking this deal and just got frustrated knowing that might be the best chance anyway? Or what's the timing of this with Phil knocking on the door?
Sure, but I think that the Knicks probably called before LeBron said that stuff. But remember, in that rift that LeBron had after they lost, they were down by a lot to New Orleans. They did make it close at the end, but New Orleans beat them without Anthony Davis playing. LeBron did mention that they're top-heavy, but he mentioned himself, Kyrie Irving, and he included Kevin Love in that. So it wasn't like he's floating it out there that, we can't win with Kevin Love. That seemed to be the sense that you got last year and the year before that. You know what, maybe this isn't going to work with Kevin Love. I kind of think that that's changed the way that Love has played this year. In fact, today he'll probably get named as a reserve to the All-Star team. So it's been a lot different for Kevin Love. So, and as you know, too, whenever you're talking about a guy like Carmelo Anthony and all that money he makes, these deals become complicated just trying to kind of match up the salaries.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.